Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, tonight I'm doing a finished books update. Ooh. It's been a very busy week. I've been doing a lot of moving and unpacking, and I still have to get all my clothes in order. I couldn't actually find any jeans today, so I'm so far stuck wearing lounge pants instead of jeans until I actually sort out my wardrobe. I finally found the bag of jeans that I was looking for, but yeah. Anyway, so in the midst of all that, I did finish some books though. And since I'm going to the library tomorrow to return several of the books I finished, I'm doing a book update so I can have the books here and then turn them in. So, one of the books I finished is actually not a library book. It's Plague Birds. This one is kind of dark fantasy and sci-fi and horror, I would think. So we have a post-apocalyptic dystopian sort of world in which these creatures called plague birds maintain the balance between three otherwise dominating powers that exist sort of peacefully within what has become humanity. Humans have really moved on since our day. They're all genetically modified using animal DNA and other DNA strains that make it so that they have, wolf or bird or other characteristics alongside human. There's also automatons that are considered, they were considered human. And then the plague birds that are an AI human hybrid. So the plague birds go around and kill people who need killing, basically editing out the bad people. There's also the monks. The monks are creepy. Oh my goodness. The monks were created by a sort of massive AI database thing. There are no characters in this book that you can be completely sympathetic with, where they don't do something horrible or just, what we would think of as totally inhumane. But they all have different ideas of what it means to be human, within which what they're doing makes perfect sense. We're following a character that has been tricked into becoming a plague bird. And it turns out she's special. There's all these coincidences that follow her as she's learning how to be a plague bird and figuring out what she's doing and why she was tricked into becoming a plague bird. So definitely a different sort of book from most of the books I've read. I enjoyed it. I actually did read it within less than 24 hours of starting it, which, considering the chaos that has been my life this week, is pretty good. If you don't like lots of violence and blood and guts, there's a lot of blood and violence and horribleness in this book. Thus the probably could be shelved on horror categorization. I don't read a lot of horror. At least, okay, I don't read a lot of books that are labeled horror. I'll put it that way. I read a lot of Stephen King, though, and a lot of them are often shelved with horror, but when you read them, they're more like just, I don't know, dark speculative fiction that would be more fantasy. So the more I read of that range, anyway, of what people label as horror, the harder it is for me to be completely sure of how I would classify a book, where it would fall in that horror classification. There's a lot of stuff that, while it's dark, is not usually classed as horror, too. And there's a lot of blood and guts in dark fantasy, but it's not necessarily where the point is to horrify the person reading it. Anyway, so eventually I may rediscover what I would define as horror, but I think I'm in that phase where I've read just enough to make the definitions fuzzy without reading enough to re-solidify the definitions. In the meantime, Plague Birds was good. If you like blood and guts, or at least can tolerate it, it's a cool book. I would recommend it. But it's not for everyone. A lot of my friends, I would not recommend this book to. But there are some who I think would enjoy it. The other book that I just finished is Fractal Noise by Christopher Paolini. This one actually had me playing those animated Mandelbrot sets as a visual in the background while I was reading it, because Mandelbrot sets do figure somewhat in this book. So if you're that kind of nerd, I don't think I've read a book in the last few years where knowing what Mandelbrot sets are and what they look like had anything to do with what I was reading. So it's pretty cool. It's also dark, but dark sci-fi with aliens and an alien planet and a survival story that's kind of like, it's a survival on an alien planet that's trying to kill you kind of story. Anyway, not a lot of action. There is an action climax sort of scene late in the book, but it's not really the point of the story. It just sort of, moves the story along so we can finish the book. I'm not sure that I like the pacing of this one. I read it all, in a fairly short time, but mostly because I was planning to go to the library tomorrow to turn in books, and it's a library book, not because it was so gripping that I just had to keep reading. There is kind of a built-in pacing structure. There's a thudding rhythm that the characters are experiencing as they're progressing through their travel survival scenario. So every paragraph or so, there's the text of another thud. So you're progressing along with the characters. I kind of liked that element, but I don't know. I haven't decided if I really liked it, if it was a 4.5 star or a 5-star book. But it is a high-star book. It was pretty good. Not action-packed. If you like space operas, this is not that kind of sci-fi. But if you like possible aliens where it's slightly more realistic aliens than your typical, alien sci-fi, like these aliens, I could see actually being out there somewhere. They're not bipedal. They don't just look like us with green skin or something like that. And they don't get all the answers by the end of the book. I do like that. I find it rather odd when they go into an alien planet and somehow by the end of a single rather short book, they actually know everything. Like, that's not how reality works. If you go into a planet where it's aliens that have, built the thing that you're investigating and they don't think like us, then there's no reason to think that you're going to find out everything just by, one exploration trip, especially if you've never encountered these aliens before. So it was realistic. It was good. I don't think I'd need to reread it. It wasn't that good. But if you like that, that range of sci-fi, then it actually was an alright book. I think I'm leaning towards 4 to 4.5 stars, actually, the more I think about it. Whereas Plague Birds is probably 4.5. I'm still not that into Blood and Guts, but it was a good book. So those are the ones I finished actually since the last update I posted. Hopefully I will finish more books as I get everything settled. The rest of this evening I'm going to be doing an audiobook so that I can put my wardrobe together. So that hopefully I can get into bed, because right now my bed is completely covered with clothes that need to be put away and stuff that was packed with the clothes that needs to be put away somewhere else. So that will be the rest of this evening, and I probably won't have another physical book finished until at least tomorrow night. I'll probably do another update. I don't know. I'll definitely do another update in 7 days, because it is the 14th now, so it's the end of the second week of November. So actually it would be appropriate today to have a book update. I won't be posting this on the 14th, though. You will probably not see this book till the 15th, or this video about books until the 15th, because I am not waiting an hour for this video to post. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to take my recorded video with me to a place with better internet, upload it there, and then post it, which will happen tomorrow. So future me will get this up, and you'll see this on the 15th, by which point I still might not have finished another book, but I'll probably have made progress. Anyway, hopefully you guys are all enjoying what you are reading. Yeah, I will probably do more non-bookish, kind of bloggy sort of stuff in the next week. But I am going to be mindful of the fact that I don't want to sit and wait for my computer to upload a video for an hour. And I can't do anything else while it's doing it, otherwise it slows it down. So, yeah, until I get better internet set up here, I might be posting slightly less frequently, just because I don't want to sit and wait for an hour every time I want to post a video. So, I know we've been spoiled. We haven't had dial-up in many, many years. An hour would seem like nothing for this long a video, and yeah. Now, I wanted to actually post in a reasonable amount of time. Upload in, a couple minutes. Anyway. So hopefully you guys are doing good, and I will catch you later.